all getting ready for the upcoming holiday of Passover. And when we talk about Passover, we mean, of course, the Seder. And when we talk about the Seder, we, of course, are referring to the Haggadah. The Haggadah, whether it was Maxwell House who invented it, or maybe it was the sages of the Mishnah, either way, Haggadah is actually a telling of a story. Judaism puts a lot of emphasis on telling stories. The story is told of two authors who came before a great rabbi with their works. One was a book of stories, and one was a scholarly tract. And the rabbi, the great rabbi, gave more emphasis on the storybook. And he says the reason he did that is because that's what God does. The book of Genesis is a storybook, a story of God creating the world, bringing the world to its knees with a flood, and then choosing Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and so on and so forth. And only then, when we come to the book of Exodus, do we get into the laws, to the academic aspects of the Torah. So stories are very important, and that's what we do the night of Pesach. And it's focused on children, or the child within all of us, because when we talk prose, it doesn't touch our soul the way a song or a story is able to touch us. And the night of Passover is focused on telling the story. In fact, it says in the Haggadah, the book of the story, that even if you're up a whole night, you can just still continue telling the story. The more you tell the story, as much as you know, the more praiseworthy it is. Now, the way the story is told, it's told in two parts. The Talmud says that one thing everyone agrees on, you have to start telling the story, telling the bad stuff, and you have to end with the good stuff. In order to appreciate the good at the end, you have to know what it was in the beginning. So one opinion says, the opinion of Shmuel, you start off, we were slaves in Egypt, and you end with, and God took us out and freed us. Rav says, no, you start off with, we were idol worshippers, and then God brought us to himself through the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai. Which opinion do we follow? We follow both. And that's the reason why we eat the chicken soup so late, because we're telling the story. Whichever way we tell the story, in both ways, the focus is to recognize that all of history is a story that God is writing, and he asks us, just like in Wikipedia, we add to the story. Every time we do another mitzvah, every time we tell the story, Pesach night, we are adding to that story and making it complete. The story will end on a positive note with the coming of Mashiach, with the ultimate and final redemption.